Food. Oh my goodness, I love Salvadorian food. It is all greasy, and so it's kind of a given for most missionaries. If they're not used to eating greasy food, they will gain weight. That was in my case as well. Their most common dish and what they're most known for is called pupusas. And pupusas is basically you take corn flour, and you make a dough out of it, and you put cheese in it. That's the basic pupusa. You put cheese in it, and you put it on a pan. And if you want to mix it up, and there's lots and lots of kinds. You can put in beans. They put in something called, they do revueltas, and so that's beans with pig. Although missionaries, we weren't allowed to eat pork, so you just see it from a distance. But they also do crazy ones where they'll put carrots in it. They'll put, so there's a garlic one where they mix garlic with cheese. They will do jalapenos. They'll do shrimp. And so there's just this crazy variety of pupusas that are all so good. I love pupusas. So pupusas are really great. And you're going to find pupuserias where they make pupusas like on every corner. Everybody makes pupusas down there because it's how they make their living. And so, like, it doesn't matter where you are, you're going to find a pupuseria. And you're going to eat pupusas. There's no way you're going to get through without eating pupusas. And definitely if you're in the towns like I was, you're going to make pupusas at least a few times. They also have el plato típico. So that's like normally, so for breakfast, a typical meal that they would have for breakfast is beans, but it's liquefied with a cream. And it's a cream that's very difficult to find, but it's really good. It's Salvadorian cream. And then they'll do fried plantains, kind of like bananas, and they'll do scrambled eggs. But it's not typical scrambled eggs. It's like with tomatoes and onions and all that stuff, all mixed around. And then if they want to get fancy, they'll do a type of cheese that's white, and then they will have it with tortillas, which is another thing, is their tortillas are really thick. They're probably about like that thick. And they're about this round. And so that's their tortillas. It's not typical. And if they're not eating it with tortillas, they'll eat it with rolls, basically. They call it pan francés. They're just really, really good rolls. So that's a typical breakfast. If it's not a typical breakfast, you just take out the eggs and it's the same thing, and that's dinner. But it's so good. I love it. They also have street food. And it's honestly really difficult to avoid street food because that's the only food you're going to find unless you want to go to a fancy restaurant. So they do French fries. It's a really common thing down there. They do French fries, and they put cheese on it, and they put the ketchup on it and mayonnaise, and you just eat it out of the bowl like that. They also do yuca, which is a type of root, and they'll fry that, and you put in it salsa with, it's kind of like cabbage and cucumber and all that stuff shredded up. Although as missionaries, we can't eat that, so we just ate it with the salsa. And then there's another one. It's really, really good. It's called Pastelitos. So it's just like they have some kind of dough. I believe it's corn dough. And they'll put meat in it, or they'll put potatoes in it. They'll roll it up in a ball, and they'll just fry it. And then you do the same thing, salsa and the shredded vegetables. And, well, I've only tried it with the salsa, but I absolutely love pastelitos. So it's really, really good. Crazy foods, you can find them, but they're not typical. Sometimes they eat iguana down there. I never did. I never had anyone make iguana. It's more expensive, and so you're not really going to see that, but they'll do it. If you go to a fancy restaurant, you might find it, certain ones. And then sometimes they eat possum. But again, I never ate possum, so it's just like something that I heard people would eat. For food stories, I guess the funniest thing is that before my mission, I hated bananas. I absolutely hated bananas. But when I ate a small banana, so it's called a guineo, so it's like a banana, but it's like smaller, I loved it. And it might have been because it was just fresher, but I loved it. And ever since, I have just loved bananas. And speaking of that, there's lots of fruits. You're going to find pineapple. You're going to find mango. Just that there's actually a season. I guess you could call it something about the weather because there's falling mango everywhere. Every turn you're going to make, unless you're in the city, there's a mango tree. And so when mango season hits, which is about May, believe it starts, and they eat most of these things, they'll eat it green or they'll eat it ripe. Or the in-between. They will just eat fruit however it is. But you'll have mango trees that just fall, and you'll actually walk past them. They're just fermenting in the street. Like, it's just ridiculous how many mangoes there are. And then you're going to have a lot of crazy fruit that you've probably never ever seen in your life. There's zapote. There's guindas. There is maracuyá. Marañón is the fruit that comes from a cashew tree. So you have the fruit, and then you have the cashew, so there's actually a fruit that they eat. Although not everybody really likes the fruit. I do. And you're going to find star fruit down there as well. It's just a plethora of fruit, and it's amazing.